Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Hack to the Dark. I'm Nychelle, your GM, and today we're doing the conclusion and part three of our Blades in the Dark isk supernatural game show.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It, winnings.
Someone's winning,
Yeah.
probably.
Exactly. So, why don't we go around and introduce ourselves for all of our audience members? I've already
Okay.
introduced myself. I'm Nychelle. Uh, she, her, because I always forget to say the pronouns. So, sorry, but there they are. And I am the GM tonight. And let's go, Danielle.
Hi, I'm Danielle. I use she or they pronouns, and tonight I am playing Professor Yorath Dawes, the savant from the Mythos Forged playbooks.
My name's Mark. I'm playing Daisy. Uh, she's an elderly woman, Whisper. And yeah, I'm excited to die tonight. Or live forever.
Yeah, I'm Eskur, he, him. I'm playing Coil, they, them. They are a Dadewalker, an arcane martial artist, and a cultist.
And last time our crew survived a essentially gunshot wedding-esque permanent soul bonding turned into electroplasmic arena, with Coil actually flying out by the seat of his pants, quite literally, with grenades and bombs rocketing outside into the graveyard of the church where everyone else is on the outside of the chapel, where you all now stand.
So we're all outside the chapel right now. There's probably like a look of surprise, kind of that Coil made it, but like shielded, just like Daisy's just like, oh, like fake surprise, you know? Like she saw you, like she actually helped you, right? But she was kind of hoping you'd probably fall. You know?
Daisy's just watching her collection of retirement fund there dwindle with Coil's survival.
Cat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like a winner takes all thing, or is it like multiple of us could survive? I don't know. I'm not sure about the rules yet. I think we've all just been along for the ride.
Yeah, I don't think Coil believes any of this reward or rules business.
You're just trying to make it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if there is a reward, do you know what you want?
No.
It's yeah, I don't know yet exactly, but it's got something to do with the the ghost like attached to me, I guess at this point. I'm not sure if they're attached or just linked metaphysically. But why don't you tell me about that a little bit? What does the bond that we did mean?
Your undead husband.
I mean, what does the bond mean that we did last time? That marriage ceremony?
Mm-hmm.
What
Your
was that?
souls are forever entwined for all eternity.
Cool. So I see their soul nearby me, or I can feel it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. He is nearby.
Ah, then Daisy's definitely got a noticeable blush. She looks lively and young for a
Oi,
moment. There
oi,
she
oi, I said nearby. I didn't say right there.
she's just like, you're closer than normal. Oh, Amos, feels great. And she's talking to herself for a moment there, and she's just like, oh, Coil. Like, like that mock surprise thing.
Sure.
She just kind of dusts herself off, and like closes
Coil,
the umbrella or whatever it was that we were using.
you feel a little tug in your pocket.
Mm. Yeah. I'll pat the pocket, see what screams. Hitchhiker.
I know that cough anywhere.
Guys, it's me, Dusty.
Who would have thought?
You
So
brought
my mouth
hitchhikers.
became squishy. You should be careful.
You have a message for us, I expect. Is that?
No, I was just hiding. I didn't want to see her like get all mushy and stuff.
Okay.
Talking about my character? Yeah. Daisy doesn't address it. She just looks askance, like. Yeah.
Hey, Coil. Guess what?
What?
Was that big enough for you? Was
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
I mean, the entire thing went. I just want to let you know your pants are still on fire. And we like look
Are
back
they?
behind you. Yeah, it's a little bit of a smolder going on.
Uh-huh. All right, I'll pat it out.
Daisy like looks back away from it, like oh my, because if that's dangerous, and then she's just like, you have a hitchhiker again? Oh no. What are we to do with you? And she's looking at at Dusty, smiling a little bit too.
Oh
Of,
yeah,
like,
he just sticks his
physical-
little tongue out at Daisy and just dips back into the pocket, rummaging around. You're not all sure what he has in that pocket.
Right. They did produce things that we didn't think they had. Bomby stuff.
Oh, Coil, I did bring you this, and he holds up a very limp, like half dead flower, and like one of the petals just kind of like falls down and slowly to the ground. I know that your girlfriend was here before, and so like just in case you like needed it, because like I did kidnap like you asked, but here, there.
Sure. Like, oh well, yeah. I'll use this, and I'll get out my flask of ghost whiskey. Like that deserves a toast.
Ooh! Takes a big giant swig of it.
But what are you anyway? And she starts to kind of like fiddle with his, I don't know, like that maybe his elbow or something that he's like not paying attention to while taking a drink.
No touchy. You're married.
He's just like still going for it, and then like as he probably avoids me,
Oi!
she's just like, ah, what is it anyway? And then she's like, are you gonna get drunk? I thought you were dead.
No, I'm very much alive. Thank you very much. I am here, and I am having a bud moment. And you are making me feel uncomfortable.
He's like, I don't want to drink the stuff that you got. Don't worry.
Obviously.
I think
I'm
she
not
was like,
sharing.
I think she's like pretending like she's about to go sip her like some kind of spirit elixir or something, One of her whisper items, I think, is Quicksilver. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's like messing around like she's gonna drink some Quicksilver. And then she kind of like dangles it close to him, kind of like, do you want some? I'm trying to figure out what the heck this thing is. You know what I mean?
It's a little Sprite.
I know,
that's
but
all it is.
But you've said a Sprite, and I don't know what a Sprite really is. I mean, I remember sprites in a video game, but they were these short things that had like big ears and long hair and lived underground.
Okay. For the image for what I have is Dusty
Secret of
is
Mana
very
reference.
It's very much like we discussed in the first episode of Studio Ghibli with like the little suit spirits. It's kind of between that and Pascal of Treasure Planet. So like a little bit of a mixture of the two. It's a little tiny, little
This might be
dust.
better. Hold on. I'm trying to do a thing with the game, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a question. So I guess like
Ooh.
what is the danger here, or what should I look out for?
You know what? From
Like she's
Dusty
trying to do it
specifically.
playfully. Yeah, she's trying to do it playfully. I don't know what.
When you drink your Quicksilver, I'm not going to
No,
make you roll or anything
she
for
doesn't want
this.
to actually drink it. She's pretending to drink it, and then she's gonna like ask him if he wants some. She's trying to test. So basically, I don't know if this is survey or maybe even like a sway type thing, but that's kind of what I'm going for. That kind of fiction of
Make me a fortune roll. Whichever one you think Daisy would be using.
probably sway because I've got more of that.
Go for it.
That's a fortune. Oh, cool. All right. So let the people see too what we're doing. Well, I'll just have to tell it to you this time. I'll get that ready in a moment.
Don't forget you take a +1 die because of Ghost Mind. Because you take a plus.
Oh, this
You're
would be
always
considered bad
aware.
info.
You're always aware of supernatural entities in your presence. You take a +1 when you gather info about the supernatural.
And the Miskatonic contacts too, maybe.
Yeah. What does that one say? I'm mid-roll here.
+1 to gather info on occult. Wow, occult, or eldritch.
Ah, yeah, dude. GM, do I get that?
Absolutely.
Well,
Roll it.
wait. So yeah, I
You would
reach
get a
out to the
+2 to your
Miskatonic.
roll.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Miskatonic contact info in my brain as I'm doing this sway.
Love it.
Okay, so it did roll 1 die for me. Awkward because I thought it didn't take that. I thought I canceled. All right, so now I'll just roll 1 die with it, or do you want me to re-roll?
You should be rolling 3 dice.
Just roll 2 more, right?
Two more bonus. So I'll just roll this with bonus die. Fortune. 3. So the best is a
Better?
4. I was
4.
gonna say a 3 was not good. That was my first roll. Was a 3.
Dusty is supernatural. He is a type of horror, and it's very, very old. He acts very, very young and very naive, but he's very, very old. But you've not interacted with this particular type of horror. It seems almost older than the types of horrors that now seem to permeate Duskfall and Akaros and the Isles itself.
Well, right, but don't get too confused now, because I was saying we already knew kind of what it was, but I was saying what should I look out for, That was my real question. That I was,
You don't have to. You can trust Dusty, but it is very much like trusting a child.
Oh, we got to look out for them doing something themselves or whatever. Yeah.
Well, it's so like Neville is very much somebody that there's a little bit of manipulation there when you're interacting with him, whereas of Dusty it's very much childlike of he does what you ask or answers what you ask, but it may be in a manner that you're not necessarily expecting, but he thinks that he's doing it to the best of his ability.
Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that one.
Uh-huh.
And take what he says with, some liberties.
Correct. So that kind of did express itself last session with all of the dynamite grenades and bombs and stuff, and also Coil saying, I want to have a good time. Dusty took that as a, Oh, well, I know how humans have a good time.
That's right.
Hence the drug use last episode. And when I say that out loud, it sounds really bad. Out of context of this game.
Well, it's not like a child that we know or anything
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, no.
We didn't do it, you know. We're not drug dealers either. So sorry, Dusty, but you're hooked on the good stuff, I guess. To call out an ability from Blades.
So as you, Daisy, are trying to inspect Dusty, and Dusty is kind of like trying to scoot closer and closer to Coil. Professor, you have an arm wrap around your shoulder a little bit, just like around, you know, the edge of it, as a figure comes up and stands next to you. The your contacts and other people that you knew in the scene, as you kind of look around, just kind of taking in the conversation, but also now being more aware, they're no longer present. But Neville's there. Ah, yes. Wonderful moment. Question is, can you trust him? Of course you can trust him. His child. Was a really good scene back there. You have your wits about you. I'm gonna have to double up my bet.
I think he looks over at Neville and kind of like quirks an eyebrow a little bit and says, "Exciting enough for your audience?"
I mean, they will take almost anything these days, but it shall suffice. We're coming down to the last sands within the hourglass. Do you think that we should add more risk to the gamble?
The corner of his mouth raises in like just a small smile and says, "The greater the risk, the greater the reward."
Ah, yes, that is what they say. Question is, what do you consider a reward, Professor?
He just smiles.
Ah, yes. And he just kind of looks over the conversation with Daisy and Esker. You know, your fair companion that was with you earlier on the platform did say they wouldn't mind meeting you again. We could even say that is on the table if you wish.
I think for maybe the first time this entire game, he frowns a little bit. And he says, "That's in your control, is it?"
It's all down to a matter of perspective, is it not? I make it seem like I control everything, and you guys simply assume, in which case I do have control. It's all part of the game, isn't it?
Smile comes back.
Ah,
Of course.
Coil, friends. Pyromaniac. I do say, sir, that you have caused great fireworks tonight among our lady audience. They consider you a man of action, quite figuratively. So, do you want more risk added to the game? Given and awarded by our dear professor here, greater risk, greater reward.
Well, I think why don't you pitch me what your extra risk is?
Ooh. See, the things that you would consider risk, I don't necessarily consider risk. So it doesn't matter my opinion. It matters how you perceive the risk and whether or not it is worth it. TikTok man. We only have so much of a commercial break before the final act.
I think Coil is content and will turn down this offer.
Very well. Madame. Cannot hear you, Mark.
I'm double muted. So the yeah, Daisy's gonna kind of say something like behind everybody else's thing, like in between snide remarks and stuff, like to herself basically. But she's already kind of been talking, like as Coil's finishing, saying no. She's like, the proof's in the pudding, though. You know, proof's in the pudding, and she's like, kind of like pacing around nervously. So when you address her, she looks like, huh? She's like, you're not even gonna tell us what the deal is before you ask us if we want it. Ah, how can we accept?
Well, think of it this way. You have already taken something. And he kind of gestures to Amos, kind of floating there where Daisy can see him. Thing is, technically, in a sense, you have already won, dear. But what does that give me? Where is my thrill? Where is my edge? Where is the pizzazz?
Yeah, Daisy's like tapping her foot, kind of angrily, and then she's like, what do you mean I already won? She's like, oh, he was mine all along, honey. You know, and she's kind of like, what about what we talked about? She gives like a narrow eye to this creature thing from.
Oh, so you do want greater risk.
That's what I don't understand. What was it? I thought my life was on the line. And she looks to Amos, kind of like, hopefully. And Amos, I don't know what he does, but I guess he's looking for some kind of reaction from him, from the spirit, like some kind of feeling, an impression. There's no one there, right? She's just like talking to herself, pretty much. But yeah, she's trying to hope for a feeling.
I'm sorry, the song Hooked on a Feeling comes to mind. I'm hooked on a feeling. Da, da, da. Sorry.
I'm looking for more than a feeling. More than
Exactly.
a feeling. Like that.
You know, that is technically an NPC of your character, and it's a contact, so you tell me. What do you feel from Amos during this exchange?
I mean, I think Amos has got some kind of point of view of the afterlife to share here. So some sort of like, if it's like, hey, they're talking about your forever soul or something, Daisy might be a little concerned about that. And then, so, yeah, she's kind of looking to see if that, are they talking about that? And if so, or does this feel like a bad idea from Amos? And so I think Amos is going to give her that perspective, you know, a long game kind of perspective.
You get a glimpse at an aspect or a shard of how Amos goes throughout his day. There's checkers with a couple of friends. There's hauntings and stuff. There's staying away from the lightning barrier of the city, hiding from the wardens. But there's also fun parts of it. There's going to the play, going to the theater, which you all know that this is a part of. But then again, you know, you have been his link to reality or to humanity or what remains left of it.
Okay. But what's his reaction?
There's a little bit of longing, but there's also contentment.
Longing for me to take the to take this offer? Like I'm trying to get a reaction out of them, you know. Like I guess so. They, yeah. Like I think they're probably not like super tormented or anything like that, but maybe you're saying they are. If they are tormented, they're probably territorial about somewhere that we used to share. So maybe they're like saying something about that, like remember the park? They whisper something in my ear. That remember the old park. And if they say that, that means take the deal, because we'll be there forever, and your soul's not at risk. We'll be there forever after this is all over anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's fine. When you die, our spirits are joined forever. So cool. But if they're talking about we're both gonna go down and if we take this deal, you know, and fail, then you know they would say something like remember the fallen forest. Some memory we had of a tree, you know, falling in this forest, and it was like one of the last trees.
I think in this instance, you have to realize that Daisy is most likely set up for success no matter what comes out at the end of the game, what comes out at the end of the contest, because she now has the soul of her lover and her husband. And whether she chooses to do that while being alive or joining him as undead, that's up to her.
Well, so that's what I'm saying as a player from the get-go is that she was not after Amos.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
was
know.
not her sole thing. So she was like trying to have a nice life to share with Amos before she dies, and then maybe their spirits would be entwined, but who knows? But you know, probably he'd be banished by then, but because you know that's what's supposed to happen to spirits. But
So it comes down to what your character perceives as the the big reward. To
right, it's just
Daisy, does
the
that
life of
represent
luxury,
the
you
life
know.
of luxury?
Yeah.
Is that worth it?
Well, wasn't that what this was all about, or no?
Yes. Question is, Neville is asking if you want to up the stakes.
In exchange for
More fun during the contest for them. You would
what does
get a
that
bigger
mean?
reward at the end.
What does that mean to me, Mark? as a player. Like, what are you talking about? More risk? Like, actually in the roles, all the roles are more risks or something, or less effect? You know what I'm trying to understand?
Yes,
That's what you
there's
mean.
higher risk. The
Okay.
stakes are higher.
Daisy's old, all right? She looks at her pallid skin, like, wait, it's kind of soft for an older woman. She's like probably in her 60s or something, you know. She looks sort of youthful for that, but she's
Mm-hmm.
fairly old. And so I think she looks down at herself and she kind of holds her skin up and it stretches way more than mine, you know. It's like, you know, she lets it go and she's like, I'm not long for this world, honey. I'm not going to double down. And she steps back to like indicate no, she's not into that.
Hmm. None of you took me up on my offer. Very interesting.
To be clear, I was imagining a like giant piggy bank of money at the end, filling up my whole stash, sort of thing. Um, you know, as some sort of that was what I thought we were already talking about. If it's, you know,
And he kind of
that's fine.
gestures, and you guys see a door appear in the middle of thin air. The final act awaits. And he walks on through.
Okay. Warily follow.
Sure.
Yeah, Yorath will kind of do a sketch a bow and like after you. Um,
Okay.
holds open the door for everybody.
Oh yeah. Daisy looks kind of smirks. He like passes you and you can't see her face.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like sort of like one of those. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty awesome that you're still trying to have manners in this moment. Your character is so like uptight. It's so awesome. They all they did was the only time they didn't smile was when they thought maybe that this demon thing was in control of things.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
As you guys enter, you guys see it's very much set up like the players will be familiar with this, but it is a very lush stage. Very rich, ornate woods, carved. It's a theater, but it's not the same theater that you all saw
As
back
you
when
say that.
in an earlier episode. This is the theater. This is where, and as you like walk through aspects in the ghost field shimmer and you see the different decades and generations of style, decor, beauty, decay, all kind of intermingling with each other. And you realize that the building is very much real in the ghost field. And it is expressing its entirety as you guys enter into the stage. You guys are entering from stage left or right, doesn't really matter. And you guys are entering fully onto the stage. You guys know that this is the theater in the ghost field. This is where the entire show has taken place, is in the ghost field. But you're very much aware that this is the theater that is in White Crown. But this is very much more alive, very much more vibrant, and it is filled to the brim with supernatural audience members. You see past Dimmer sisters. You'd never recognize them. you see probably current spirits from the Dimmer Sisters still sharing the same booth, here to watch the show. You can see part of the stage kind of crack or creak beneath your weight as you walk across it, and you almost see into a real life opera that is going on in the theater right now. Some of the guests intermingled into reality, watching the show within the ghost field, not watching the show that is happening in the present or in the material in Duskfall at the orchestra. Sorry, at the theater.
So we're in White Crown physically?
Yes. But you are all in the ghost fields. On the stage, you see 3 very ornate, metal alloyed, polished, bright to shining. All of the lantern light kind of scattering across their surfaces into 3 pedestals that have like a little bell or something set right on the top of each of them. And they each have your name lit up in the front of them, like contestants. You see also beneath your names, you also see Coil. You see a number. What number comes to mind?
78.
78. Coil. Daisy. What number do you see beneath your name?
7.
Professor.
34.
These all represent moments or marks against your soul. Neville stands up close to the front, all the light shining down. Ladies and gentlefolk, horrors, vampires, and specters, we are all here today to see the finale. You've all given essence and combined these 3 individuals. He kind of gestures. They all have gone through the gambit. Some with flying colors, others not so much. Their final tallies remain. Question is, what will they do with their immortality now that they have been given it? Will they take immortality and slowly lose a mark every time that they come close to death's door? Or will they give it all up for mortal gain? And with that, he gestures, and a 2 very slow walking hollows come with this almost like a giant, those dinner bells like those dinner domes on a platter. It's kind of like held between them, and they come walking up on the stage, and Neville pulls the lid off. The smoke comes out, and the entire audience gasps. And there on the plate, you do see a massive amount of treasure. the amount that, even if it was divided amongst you, would be enough to retire on, to live very, very comfortably the rest of your life. And then they kind of like, he puts the lid back on and sends them off on the other side of the stage. Now comes the time that they either gain more marks or lose them all. And with that, the orchestra starts up, doing their little game show, uh, music ditty. One of them even has like a crank on a gramophone that kind of like dings with metal prongs on a uh, what are those things called? They're like the spiked roll. It's like a music box. When you turn it, it has that the little metal tines that click against the little spokes to make a ditty. I
Yeah, I
can't
can picture
practically
remember.
what
hear
you're
it.
saying, but
Yeah, I can practically
Yeah,
hear it in my head. So
I can't remember the name of it. Sorry, guys. Um,
like a music box, though.
yeah, and they're sitting there and they're doing the little ditty and whatnot. Meanwhile, the floor kind of like opens up and a giant wheel comes out with like different segments on it. Each part, some of them looking very, very new, some of them looking very, very old. You figure that they've been playing this game for like centuries, and every new generation of horror that comes, they get to add a new spoke essentially to the wheel from that particular time period. So essentially, you have this whole wheel of all these different time periods from before the cataclysm all the way to present day, kind of sitting there. So I think before we get into spinning the wheel, I know I did just like describe the scene very well, and it also can be a little overwhelming. But let's go to a quick break and then we'll come back in about 5 minutes and we'll get started on that.
Yeah, okay. Good. We'll just take a break. Come back in about 5 or 10.
Yep.
Yeah, 10 would be good.
And we'll be good. That sounds all right.
That
Hang
way
tight,
everyone
folks.
can take a break. Yeah. Come back and join us after the break.